already started before.
Okay, I just stopped it. I'm re-recording it, so
Oh,
it
okay.
won't do all that stuff. So I'm gonna go on Facebook right now.
Oh wait, this is live.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know you could do Zoom live like that.
yeah. So
Put it
we're
on
going
Facebook, see
live.
what's gonna look like.
Let's prepare the stream right now. We're going live.
I'm so excited. When I switch out of the Zoom app, can you still see me right now?
Hold on. It's right now getting stuff ready. Let me go back to the Zoom app. Yeah, I can still see you.
Okay. Hey, when you pull those numbers, Brian, that you post as your status update, are
Yeah.
those for the entire, like all the MLS districts?
Yeah, I don't put in any neighborhoods. I just do T-1.
Right.
And then I add the condo numbers and the freehold numbers.
Right.
Okay, I'm going live right now, pressing the button.
Nice.
We're live, I think. It's setting up.
Yep, it says it's streaming live on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't even see that. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it shows me right here. This is pretty cool, man. This technology
Yeah.
is good times.
So we're here with Ara. Ara's my good friend. You might have recognized him from all over social media, especially if you're in pre-construction or living in Leslieville. Ara is a superstar real estate agent that's been in the business for over a decade, all over social media. And you were with Brad Lamb's team a little while ago. Were you on his TV show?
No, I joined the brokerage just as that show was dying down.
Oh, so you
So
cut your teeth after he was famous and everything in real estate. So you got access, you got a lot of knowledge on how pre-construction and everything works and stuff like that
well, that's where it
from
all
Brad.
started. That's when nobody really wanted to buy pre-con back in the day. That was a tough sell at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, how are you holding up, man? How's it been going? Have you been on social distancing or lockdown since last week?
Yeah, I think it's been, if you count the March break week, it's 2 weeks now, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because my daughter was supposed to be in a camp, which was actually, it's a private camp, so it was still open, but we didn't take her.
Yeah.
So we've been locked down for a little while now, and it's actually, I mean, I kind of feel guilty. I put this on my Instagram story the other day. I felt super guilty for not feeling bad, like about what's happening and whatever, like because you can't really control that stuff, right? Because like
Yeah.
we're in our house, we're Carla, my wife, and I, and our daughter, like we've got a good routine going, and we're actually enjoying this time together. And I've got some clients that have like put the brakes on because they're unsure about where things are going to go. But then there's some clients that are like, I'll quote one of my clients. I won't pull up his message right now, but like to paraphrase, he was like, listen, this is not really an investment for us. We're just buying our forever home. So let's go. So these guys are ready to actually transact. Now, so at home, we're good. We're solid. We have all the toilet paper we need. And, we're good. At work, things are a little bit slower, but there's some clients that want to do some stuff, like I was saying. And it's like, it's a tough thing because I'm not out there. I'm not about to go out there and do showings. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not safe. I don't want to go out there and bring stuff back to my family that could harm them. So like we're having tough conversations with clients now who are literally making sight unseen offers with conditions to view the property. So it's not like a firm deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting to see how that plays out because the guy has to get into the house eventually, right? To see it. So we're just trying to navigate that because again, I'm not going to go out there and walk into this house. So, we're getting sellers to just kind of agree to let these people into their homes while taking any sort of, washing hands and all that stuff seriously, just walking into their houses on their own without an agent or something. So
Really?
yeah, I mean, one seller is totally cool with it. Just allowing this buyer who's already got a negotiated deal on the house to just kind of, he's like, hey, I'm just gonna leave the door open. I'm gonna sit in my car and I'm gonna sit in my car in the driveway. You walk into the house, go to the sink, wash your hands immediately, do not touch anything and walk out of the house and hopefully firm up the deal and don't bring the corona into my world. So
Yeah.
like the thing is, like, people still have to transact. You know what I mean? Like there's some people, like if you're sitting in your house right now and you're like, hey, I wonder what it would be like if I put my house on the market. Stop that thought right away. You know, like don't, you know, like the people that should be transacting right now are the people that have to. You know,
Yeah.
like if you, for whatever reason, you have to sell your house or it's already sold or you're in the process, you got to complete that process. Or if you're going to be homeless at the end of the month because you've already sold your house, you need to buy something, like you have to complete that process. But outside of that, it's interesting to see. I don't think there are too many people voluntarily selling right now if they don't have to.
And it's wild. I mean, we're still seeing transactions, lots of transactions, hundreds each day. And I mean, are your clients, are they doing like the virtual open houses? Like, how do they know if it's a property that they want to buy without taking a look at it in advance, or putting in an offer on it without looking at it?
It's tough. Like there aren't a lot of people that would be comfortable making an offer on a home without setting foot in it.
Yeah.
But technology is so good. Like for example, since you could, like since 2002, every time I put out a listing, it had a 3D virtual walkthrough,
Yeah.
high res photos, and floor plan. So
Yes.
those three things, especially the 3D walkthrough, you know, the Matterport, that dollhouse where you can kind of zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I have to put out a listing right now, it has that. So you could virtually take a walk through a home and get like 75% there, you know, like in terms of what it's like, what it's going to be like to live there. Some people can get to 100% and make that offer just based on that technology. But if you're going after a listing that doesn't have at least high resolution photos or the 3D floor virtual walkthrough,
Yeah.
it's going to be very hard for people to make those kinds of decisions. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on a seller to make sure that they've hired an agent that could deliver that kind of technology, which is so accessible to everybody. Like, I don't see why you can't, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I would have thought it would have been so much easier to do it with a condo, because you could go, if it's less than 3 years old, you can go on the floor plan, just see the pictures that are high resolution to make sure the it's in good condition. But I'm looking on the MLS every day and I'm seeing old houses, new houses, stuff that is selling. I'm not sure if they negotiated deals in advance. I don't know details, but it's literally hundreds. And you know how you were saying how only sellers that need to sell should put their places on the market. No one is taking a haircut. I mean, prices are up.
Prices are
Like
up. I mean, you ran the numbers like in a broader area.
yeah. Let me
And
show you this example. Like this one, 11 Brunel. Um, I don't know if you can see the screen share. I'm pulling it
just
up
make sure
right
you
now.
put it in
Yeah, I
client
gotta
mode
do
there.
client full here.
We don't want to get
Um,
ourselves in trouble now,
we don't want to
releasing
get ourselves in
privileged
trouble.
information.
So let me just put it in here. Let me just get the unit number in here. Let's look at the last sale. And you're seeing insight into the MLS right
I was going
now.
to say, you guys are getting like a serious back end view into the secret society of realtor
So look
technology
at
here.
this one, 3510, sold for 985. And just a couple weeks ago, 3910 sold for 980. And one of the things is that this one, 3510,
Yeah.
is on a lower floor, doesn't have a locker, and got $5,000 more than one that sold 3 weeks ago.
Was it nicer
So,
overall?
I mean, they're both comparable. They're
Yeah.
really both comparable, nothing special. And they both sold within 5 days, firm. So either these people bought it sight unseen, or they took a quick look at it because it was vacant.
Yeah.
So no one's taking haircuts. And we just saw one yesterday. It went $130,000 higher than the price in the fall. So that's from November. And
Yeah.
I'm really amazed at the resiliency of the Toronto real estate market. I mean, look at stocks. I mean, most stocks have got the crap kicked out of them, and Toronto real estate is keep like humming along. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think I can have a good idea of why that is. I think we're pretty early into this whole, you know, crisis that we're going through here. And I think there's a lot of residual, you know, there's a buyer pool out there that are in a position where they've sold
Yeah,
before all this stuff happened and
yeah,
scrambling to find their next home. I
yeah,
think once the supply of those desperate buyers goes away, the next 2 weeks are going to be very interesting. to see, because the next 2 weeks, or let's say the next like month onward, so 30 days from now and on, where you have pretty much just voluntary transacting happening, where people don't necessarily need to be in the market, but they're just there. I think you're going to see a very different kind of market. I'm not sure if we're going to have a market where, you've got prices all of a sudden tanking, but I think we're going to see a lot less activity as people fully retreat back into their homes and
I
not
agree.
get out there and do anything. So, I think pre-construction, I think has almost completely stopped selling at the moment. I don't see too much activity there. There's a few deals trickling, through the pipeline here and there. But I think a lot of people's focus, I think, is going to go back to pre-construction condos as they're sitting in their homes and considering their next investment option, if that's something that's on their mind. Because think about it, like with pre-con, you're walking into a sales center, you're getting distracted by all the shiny, marketing stuff around you that you're not going to get. You're really making a decision by looking at a piece of paper anyway. So you could make buying decisions for pre-construction sitting in your home. And I think people will, start paying more attention to pre-con in the coming months. But I see almost a complete halt in most freehold sales activity beyond 30 days from now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that because at least the realtors I'm talking to, most people are staying home. Now, I have to think, if I had a client that's really in a bind, am I going to go show them a property? I really have to think about it, and I think each realtor has to make their own decisions on how they're going to be doing things. I know for right now, pre-construction, like the organic lead traffic has died down significantly.
It's funny you say that. I don't see that. Like I've got
really?
I've got a project that I'm launching. Was supposed to launch in May, but we're probably not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
In High Park, I think I told you about it. It's called the Howard.
Yeah.
Just right now, I'm looking at my email. In the past 8 minutes, 2 leads signed up for it.
Wow.
So I'm getting like a consistent every day, anywhere from like 6 to 12, 13, 15, up to 15 leads a day for this project right now.
Did you just put up a sign up on the
Nothing.
property?
We have no sign. These are coming either through BuzzBuzz Home, or through our landing page that we have set up. There's $0 spent on marketing this property. It's all organic.
So you're not doing any pay-per-click ads, and there's no billboards or anything that people
we don't
are
even
seeing
have
to
the
reach out?
we don't even have the hoarding up for the site yet. So
wow, interesting.
So like this is all organic stuff that people are just finding. So like I've always been a proponent of buying in, especially if you're buying condos, investor, end user, whoever you are, buying in the urban communities outside of the core. I think those urban, like the Leslievilles, the Roncesvalles, the High Parks, like those communities that aren't in the core but close enough and they still have an urban vibe to them, it seems like there's always demand for those. But you just showed me a condo in City Place that is performing very well also. But I think, when you're in those dense condo communities, I think those ones will probably slow a lot quicker than the ones in the urban communities surrounding the core. But it's funny. I'm getting different responses from different agents. Some are telling me that all their business is completely dead. Some are telling me they're still moving along. I know a guy on the east side. Remember, a lot of transactions happen off of MLS too. Like this year, I've only done one transaction on the MLS system. Most of mine have been through assignments or exclusive or off-market things. And a lot of that is still happening, especially here on the east side.
Yeah, it's amazing. Because the areas are so underserved that as soon as really people get wind of an application going in, they probably see the sign a zoning application was put in, and then they start Googling the address and they see the BuzzBuzz Home information or your landing page and they're jumping on. So the demand is definitely there. I have been speaking to a lot of real estate agents that have those like mega websites where they just put up a lot of projects and they rely on organic traffic on them. They're saying that their traffic is died down significantly. And I've seen it personally. So maybe it's like really project specific that overall traffic has died down, but those inner Toronto projects are still doing well because there's so much demand for it. There's really no supply coming in because the areas are just full of single family homes and no way someone could afford to be there other than if they move into a condo.
So what do you think is going to happen with pre-construction right now? Like, what do you think, especially if a project is launched, um, they've sold some units,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen? I mean, I have some clients asking me, are these projects going to cancel?
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. People worry that if this goes a couple months, is the builder going to go bankrupt? I mean, the deposits are held in trust, and if they've just bought it, there's carry-on protection and everything else on that. I'm not worried about that. I think that there is some panic where if someone put in the initial 5,000, they're walking away from that and hoping the developer doesn't do anything and the builder would just resell it at the new price that they're at right now. But I'm not really seeing that. In fact, I make it a point to speak to at least 40 to 50 people a day. Sometimes I have to dial a couple hundred people to get 40 to 50 on the phone. Most people are watching. They're still interested. They just don't know what to make of it. A lot of people are investing, and the stock market got the crap kicked out of it, and they don't just keep their money into like a bank account.
Well, let me know what
money
on that point real quick. There's one thing that I've been doing for years, and I didn't realize how important it was until now, was whenever I meet with a buyer for the first time, one of the first things that I mention to them is all the money that you plan on using for this real estate purchase, if it's in anything other than a bank account right now, take it out. If it's in the stock market, take it out. I don't care when it is, but leaving money you're going to be using for an upcoming real estate purchase in play in any sort of risky investment is a huge mistake. And we're seeing that right now as people are literally losing their down payments in the stock market and panicking in some cases. So that's like a good point. Huge piece of advice that I'm so happy that I've given a lot of my buyers.
Yeah, that's actually a huge point, especially if their closing is coming up and they have to figure out a way to make that down payment down. That's huge. Yeah, going back to what I was saying, those investors have kind of waiting to see what happens with the stock market. There are a lot of people that are originally signed up for a project and they're waiting for that information to come out. So there is a lot of interest. I don't feel that there's a lot of panic out there. I do sense that there's really, I was telling Lucy this yesterday on my other Zoom call, that there's three types of people out there. There's people that are panicking. There's people that are a large group of people are people looking for opportunities. Hey, what can I lowball? What can I get good? Price is going to fall? I want to pick up three things. Sharks are out.
Yeah.
And the business as usual people. I would say the sharks are outnumbering all of the people out so far, and we just haven't seen those opportunities.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the sharks are there, and actually, I think there are some opportunities. Like, here's the thing, and you can define an opportunity in many different ways. Some people would define it as like something, like a massive discount. Right now, the opportunity for me is less competition. So it's not so much focused. It's not so much focused on the price. Although I've been saying this over and over again for the past couple of weeks, like comparables matter again. So, pre-COVID-19, you'd have one house sell for, say, $1 million. And then you'd have that exact same house, barring a couple of, minor changes in features, whatever, get an immediate premium like a week later of like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. So we don't have those week over week, month over month, really super short term gains in property value. So if a house sold for $1 million yesterday, that next one is probably going to sell for $1 million or just a tad over $1 million tomorrow. So comparables matter again. Pricing is a lot more, sale prices are a lot more predictable now. So that's the opportunity. Like, you're not going into an offer night with like 45 other competing buyers. You're still competing, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4 offers, but that's a lot more manageable than like 12 to 38 like we've seen.
So, yeah, and there's clear evidence that multiple offers are still happening in the last 3-4 days.
In the last 7 days, I ran the numbers. I ran the numbers for just the east side. I know you did a much broader area, but like just so east of Yonge Street to just before the beach, south of Danforth, there were 27 properties sold over the last 7 days. And the average list to sale price was 108%, 108.6%. So 8.6% above asking is what the average sale price was, with the highest one at 33% over asking. So
Now, when you
go ahead.
when you dug into the numbers, did you see that they're actually selling a lot higher than the previous comparables, or was it just general?
They were in line with what you'd expect them to sell for. There was one
Yeah.
condo that went for an outrageous amount of money that I don't know how or why, but that's just an anomaly and things like that happen. But like when you compare that to last year during that same 7-day period, there were 40% more sales. So sales are definitely down.
Yes.
But the average sale price to list was 102.3%. So
Interesting.
so and when you compare the actual sale prices, not just the percentage over list, when you compare the market value, there was a significant increase in price year over year as well. So
Wow.
so again, I think there's a lot of activity right now from people that need to transact. We'll see how the next 2 weeks looks. I like to run those numbers every 7 days, just to kind of keep an eye on where things are going in real time. But we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so with the market is going right now and the resiliency that we have, do you notice with people, are they really concerned about their bills? Are there a lot of people like being laid off from what you're seeing right now that have been completely taken off the market that might not be able to come back in the next couple months when this is all sorted out?
I don't know. I mean, my typical client doesn't seem to have been affected a ton by what's going on right now. There are some that have been affected. Some of them are a little bit concerned about their jobs in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly because I've made a point to reach out to a lot of the clients I've worked with in the past and people that I'm currently working with to make sure that everybody's on the same page and understand what's really going on. And there are a handful of clients that are concerned about their jobs. They've put everything on hold right now. They have their
Yeah.
jobs, they can pay their bills, they have savings, they'll be okay. The general concern there I have is from a lot of my landlord clients. I have on the podcast on Friday, we're talking to Harry Fine, who's a paralegal, who's hasn't minced words about April 1st and this, save your rent movement or whatever it is, where you have a bunch of people that are just going to stop paying rent
Yeah.
on April the 1st. And listen, I have, it's a tough time out there. So there's a lot of people that need to have a serious conversation with their landlords because they've lost their jobs or their income is significantly reduced and they literally can't afford to make their rent payments. So those conversations are very important to have with your landlord and say, hey, this really sucks and I'm putting us all in a bad position by not being able to pay rent, but I can't pay rent. I've lost my job, whatever. As long as you give the landlord a heads up, they can at least call their bank and get a deferral on their mortgage payments. There's a lot of information out there about people not being able to defer mortgage payments on investment properties, but that's actually not true. We know a number of folks that are getting deferrals on mortgage payments on investment properties. So what I have a huge problem with, though, and April 1st is going to be a problem for a lot of people, is there's some renters, tenants, that their financial lives are unchanged by what's happening right now, meaning it's business as usual for them because of whatever industry they happen to be in is continuing to chug along. They're also joining this Save the Rent movement and deciding that they're not going to pay rent, sort of stand in solidarity with their less fortunate brothers and sisters. That's going to cause a big problem for landlords. So I worry April 1st to see what's going to happen. So I don't even know what the question was initially, but that's kind of
Yeah,
where
well, how like that was going into what I was saying. Like we were talking about, are your clients worried? But check out this tweet that Gail Vaz Oxlade put up. If
Whoa,
landlords hadn't been such dicks, there
whoa,
might have been some sympathy. But hey, you reap what you sow. She
wow.
tweeted this out to about 40,000 people about this rental strike, and she's like encouraging it. Miss Debt Lady, I can't believe it.
Oh,
Miss Financial
like, do you know what happens? Like,
Education.
I'm not sure if tenants really understand. Number one, I sympathize with tenants that are in a tough spot. You have options, call your landlord. So when I'm speaking right
Yeah,
now, I'm speaking about those people that are blatantly going to break the law. Well, I guess not a law, but they're committing a crime, in my opinion, by voluntarily deciding that they're just not going to pay rent, even though they can afford to. Those people are going to mess up their futures. They're going to mess up their credit. They're going to mess up their housing situation once evictions can start again. Like, what's that saying? It's like when you what is it, like you bite off your nose to spite your face or something like that, whatever that saying
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
So it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just it's nuts. So anyway, I'm gonna pump my podcast here, Urbanize This, on Friday. We're gonna record that podcast. Y'all should download it. Having a bit of trouble with the Google feed right now, so it's up to date on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but for some reason the Google feed is a little bit slow. So check it out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Urbanize This.
I mean, when people hear what Harry has to say about the backlogs for the landlord-tenant board before all of this stuff happens.
Did you see his tweet? It was like
I saw his YouTube video.
Well,
actually,
his tweet is just one line. It's
no,
like,
what did he say? I'll pull it up.
April 1st is going to be a shit show.
Is it Harold Fine? Yeah, let me look him up. Let me
don't
post
know.
this tweet.
It was just yesterday. Then that's when I tweeted him yesterday. I'm like, hey man, we got to get you on the podcast. And he agreed right away.
Oh, Harry Fine, paralegal. Let's
paralegal.
See. Screen share this so people can see it. What he says here. We'll see it together. Can you see the screen share right now?
Oh, yep. There he is.
Okay, let's see.
Every time we pull up somebody's retweeting John Pasalis.
I know. John posted recently he's not a housing bear. I don't know. I thought he was.
Posted that he's not a housing bear?
Yeah, he would say for those bears.
Oh my God.
I thought he was.
He's a closet bear. He's a closet bear.
Yeah.
He's not the most optimistic voice in real estate usually, but then all of a sudden he's changed his tune a little bit. So
look at this. This is an actual real picture on the Gardner.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a movement, man, and it's disturbing. I think it's just, I guess tenants have felt as though the city's out of control for them. So there's blame that needs to go somewhere, and it's going to landlords. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of independent, much like there's a mom and pop shops in neighborhoods. There's a lot of small time landlords that are going to get totally screwed.
Hey, there you are, Harry. Fine, thank you. Spare 40 minutes. So all from Twitter.
I've recently fallen back in love with Twitter after a 1-year hiatus.
Yeah.
I kind of like how there's less bullshit, or at least the people I'm following anyway. Facebook is making me too anxious these days with people just spouting off all kinds of shit. So,
yeah, a lot of fake Corona news for sure.
Oh my God. Honestly, that's the biggest problem, and it's hard to not like reactively just like, oh my God, did you know that blowing a blow dryer up your nose for 30 seconds kills the coronavirus? Like, what the fuck? That's not...
Well, the crazy stuff was like, people posting pictures of like all the military moving in and how bad it is, and how the conspiracy with China, how they're suppressing the numbers, and how we're really in a bad situation. We had some agents saying this is going to change demographics forever. I don't know where they're getting
that. Who wrote that?
I'm not going to say who, but it's in our group chat.
Oh,
yeah, he's from England.
The
doctor.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, he's quoting a doctor who's saying it's going to change demographics forever. I mean, you know what? We're laughing. You and I, we know this thing is, the Corona stuff is serious, but
absolutely, man.
Yeah,
like just because we're laughing and joking around doesn't mean we don't take this seriously. Like, listen, we can't just sit here and be miserable. Like, we still have businesses to take care of, families to take care of, and clients that are really, really worried about stuff that we need to help them with. So life has to go on for us during this stuff.
For sure. So Urbanize This on Friday with Harry Fine. We're going to be talking more about the landlord-tenant board. We got some good insights on what's happening in the trenches. Ara, thanks so much. This has been wild. This has been fun. Looking forward to talking to you again. It
was fun. I think if I'm locked up in my house, I've really enjoyed talking with you. I think we should do this more often.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, man. Take care, folks. We'll see you next time.
Adios.
Adios.